and welcome to Jackie and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to make Balish. Some of you noticed Kolachki, but this is a very old recipe. My mom had it for ages and I just took it over from her. But there's a few things you need to do before you can get to the baking stage that you have to do the day before. So I'm going to walk you through that, and I'm going to let you know everything you need to get at the store, because one might be hard to find. So in this bowl I have 8 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 3 packages of yeast. When I mean by 3 packages, I mean the 3-pack. Now what you want to do is you're going to be using 1 can of evaporated milk, not sweetened condensed. It has to be evaporated. Pour it into a cup, and then you're going to add your 3 packs of yeast. Just give it 1 stir through and let it sit. It will look clumpy. That's fine. That's what we want. So while that's resting, we're going to go ahead and start this. So in this bowl, like I said, I have 8 cups of flour, 1.5 pounds of margarine. Now, it's an old recipe. They had margarine back in the day. They didn't really use butter. I have never tried it with butter. I assume you probably could, but I would watch them in the oven closer, because I think that the butter has a higher fat content. So I'm just using my pastry blender, and I'm going to blend this through until it looks like pea-sized. Alright, so now this is what it looks like. All of your margarine is mixed into your flour mixture, and what you're going to do next is, hold on one second, if this gets really clogged up, just take your butter knife and go like this, and it gets it right off. So now you're going to add your yeast and milk mixture. Just add it in. You will be surprised how easy this dough is to handle. This is a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't personally try this if I didn't really know how to bake, because there is a lot of components. Next, you're going to mix in your 4 egg yolks. Now, just kind of give them a little swirl. Do not, and I repeat, do not throw away your egg whites. Put them in a container. I have just one of these soup containers, and put it in your freezer, and you can use it in all kinds of desserts and for meringues and things like that. So it really does come in handy. Alright, so now all we're going to do is mix this all together until it comes together. This takes a little bit of time, but you'll get there. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the fillings. So, do not use jelly or jams, because they leak out of the actual cookie itself. I got this solo at Mark's. They only had two flavors, raspberry and apricot. So you need 4 containers for 1 recipe of this. I only have 3, because we're going to make a homemade cheese filling for this. And that one's my total favorite. It's so good. But you have to start your cheese a couple days in advance too, because you're going to buy cottage cheese, and you need to drain it in a cheesecloth overnight and squeeze it out as dry as you can get it, because that's called dried cottage cheese. There's no such thing as like buying dry cottage cheese around where we live. So I'm just going to get my hands in here now, and this is what you have to do to bring it all together.
I'll bring the camera in so they can see how it's coming together.
This just feels so nice. It's very therapeutic if you're need some relaxing time. This just is so relaxing to me.
So make this if you're stressed out.
Yeah. And then you eat it all and
No more stress.
that's exactly it. So I'm going to keep doing this, and when I get it into the bowl, I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so I just brought it all together with my hands. It is not a sticky dough. It's very, very nice. So what you're going to do next is, I need plastic wrap. My helper is falling down on the job here. He's not doing his job. Alright, so have some paper or plastic wrap rather ready to go. Okay, and then what you're going to do is just pour this out on your counter. And let's give it one good mush through. Now remember, there's a lot of flour that sticks in the bottom of your bowl over there. So keep going to the bottom, and you want all that flour mixed in. You don't want to see any white flour in any of this. So now here's what you can do, depending on how you like to work with dough. You can either do 4 pieces or 6, however you feel comfortable working with the dough. If I were you, I would start maybe doing like a 6 until you just get the feel of the dough. And what you're going to do is flatten this out a little bit. Just like that. And wrap it. And put it in a Ziploc bag. Don't push the air out of the Ziploc bag. Just zip it closed. Because you'll be surprised. This will, it won't rise like bread, but it gets a little bit bigger. And this, you have to do at least the day before. And it will last in the refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. So, make it ahead of time, and then you can just roll everything out when you need it. Alright, here's my dough all packaged. I roll it and I just patted it down a little bit because when it comes out of the refrigerator, it'll be a little bit easier for you to roll. If it's too hard for you to roll, take it out a little bit ahead of time and keep feeling it. You don't want it really, really warm. You want that the dough kind of cold because all that margarine in there is going through there, and that's what makes it so tender and flaky when you put it in the oven. So we will check back tomorrow and we'll show you how to fill them. Alright, so now for our Balish or Kolachki, we're going to make a cheese filling. So you need to drain 4 ounces of crushed pineapple. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of whipping cream, 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of salt. I'm sorry. And now in this bowl I have 3 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. We're going to beat this until it gets light and foamy. Alright, so now I have beaten the egg yolks and the 2 eggs together, and you want it light and fluffy like that. And what you're going to do next is you're going to add your sugar and your salt. Let's mix that up until the sugar's incorporated. Okay, so this is what it looks like once the sugar was added. I can still feel a little grit in the bottom. I'm going to let it go another minute or 2. Alright, so this is the cottage cheese I was telling you about. I got 4% or more fat, and I got small curd. And what you need to do is you need to get a cheesecloth, and you need to squeeze this out as dry as you can get it. You need to hang it from somewhere where you can let it drip either into a bowl or the sink like we have here. And throughout the next day a little bit, keep squeezing it and squeezing it. You want it as dry as possible. Once it's dry, like mine is. So now that I have all of my egg and sugar mixed in here, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our pineapple with 1.5 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice. Then the half teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of heavy cream. And remember, in baking you have to be very precise. It's not like cooking. You have to have the right amount of liquid to dry. I'm just going to give this a really quick stir just to incorporate that cinnamon. Now you can always add more cinnamon or no cinnamon. I wouldn't overpower it with cinnamon because you have so many other flavors going on, but that underlying hint of something tastes really good. So now I'm just going to pour in our 1.5 pounds of dried cottage cheese. Okay. And all we're going to do is mix this all in together, incorporate it, and then I am going to put it into the refrigerator overnight so that all these flavors meld together. If you're in a hurry, you could maybe get by doing this after about 3 hours of it sitting in the refrigerator, but I really would wait till the next day where you can see how much liquid is absorbed back into the cheese, because this will not be as runny as it is right now. And that's it. I'm just going to put this in a bowl and put it in the refrigerator till tomorrow. Alright, so now it's the next day, and here's my dough, and it rose beautifully, and it feels really good. So what you're going to do is pull your dough out. I'm only doing one at a time. Keep the rest in the refrigerator. It's a little warm here today, believe it or not, in Ohio. And they will get too soft where you can't roll them. So what you're going to do is put some flour out on your rolling board and sugar. Now the sugar is a very important part of this, so make sure you do the sugar. And the next thing that's going to sound really weird is do not flip this while you're rolling it. Just keep picking it up and putting more flour and sugar underneath it if you need to. So now we're going to roll this to about a 1/2 inch thick. You can go as little as 1/4. They do puff up. I like mine a little more doughy, but some people like there's a little more of the fruit flavorings and stuff to come through. It's all up to you. So I'm going to roll this out. Just make sure that your rolling pin has flour on it, and then sprinkle little sugar and flour on top. And we're just going to roll this out to a 1/2 inch. So this is to about a 1/2 inch, and this is a pasta roller I'm using, and I'm just going to cut with the pasta roller down, and you just kind of overlap. And these come out beautifully for cookie trays and all that. So now what I do is I go across this way. And that's okay if the dough's lifting up, because that's stuff that we will re-roll later, okay? So just keep going across, and then we're going to fill them. This pasta maker makes it really easy. So now what we're going to do is just get rid of the ones that we can't use right now, which are the ends. And like I said, just leave them there and put them in a bowl and put them in the refrigerator until you're done with all of your dough, and then mix it all together and re-roll it. Just re-roll it one more time. I need to get a little bit of a knife here. You'll find that some of them need just a little bit of help to come off. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the raspberry solo, and you just don't overfill these, because if you overfill them, they will break open. Okay, here we go. Just a little bit in the middle. It doesn't look like much, but it is, believe me. And get any flavors you like of the Solo or anything comparable to the Solo if you can't find Solo. I don't know. I know we're having a hard time finding it here, so. Okay, and I forgot to tell you at the beginning, set your oven at 350 before you start. Not a big deal. You can put these on a tray and wait for it to preheat. It's not a big deal. So what you're going to need is a bowl of sugar, and you're going to take one corner pull it a little bit, fold it over, pull the other one over, and pinch it really tight, and then only roll the tops in sugar. There you go. Show you again. Over and over. And like I said, do not overfill these because it will go everywhere. Even though I know that, I probably will overfill them occasionally too. So those are ones that you can eat instead of putting on a tray. Those are taste testers. Alright, I'll finish this up and then we'll put them in the oven. Alright, so here's my finished tray of the raspberry. And now I'm going to put it in the preheated 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Now, I would start checking them between 10 and 12 minutes. You want them, the bottoms to be a light golden brown. You should see like a little bit of the tips turning light brown. Check them. If the bottoms are light brown, they're done. Alright, so here I have the cookies. And I'm going to show you they just need to be a light brown on the bottom. And you can do cookie trays with this. If you have any family gatherings, make this. It makes a lot and it's easy and it's really good. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.